Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I got some very interesting news and they have to do with Steve Bannon, and he was a senior advisor under former President Donald Trump tenure, and he's got arrested for money laundering and conspiracy. Well, I have no issue with, if there is evidence and it's probable cause, okay, whatever, arrest the guy, and follow the process. And if the guy is guilty, should pay the penalty. If not guilty, released. All good with that. I'm for that. But there's one thing that I really I can't help noticing, and that is one side attacks the other side in a political system where you have a dual political system, which is basically the same. So that is very worrisome. If you would have, let's say, 15 political parties of average importance, let's say, and you would have, some people arrested and indicted or charged and go to the process, wouldn't be that special. But it's very strange that one side arrests people from the other side. It's two sides. So if you arrest people from the other side and they disappear, what do we remain with? We are left with one party. I lived under one party in communist Romania, and I know how it is, and I know how beautiful it was. So let's see what's going on here. I don't know if Steve Bannon is guilty of anything or not. He should be, I don't know, if there's evidence, bring it forth and go through the system. This article comes from The Insider from September 10th. Steve Bannon said being arrested on money laundering and conspiracy charges was one of the best days of my life. So Steve Bannon, Trump's chief strategist, not advisor, said getting arrested was one of the best days of his life. Bannon earlier this week was arrested and charged with money laundering and conspiracy. Prosecutors alleged Bannon has conspired to commit fraud through a sham crowd-funded charity to build a U.S.-Mexico border wall. I'm pretty sure if he was for sex change, donations, I don't know if he would have ended up in this kind of situation. But that's my assessment of how things work in this beautiful country. So let's see what Bannon said. He says, and I'm quoting, "It was a very powerful spiritual day for me," he said in a statement of conservative pundit Charlie Kirk's podcast on Friday. "A lot of things came into high clarity." He then called the event one of the best days of my life. "I was totally in the zone, as you say in sports, the entire time. They're not going to shut me up," he continued. Well, then I have another article talking about the same subject, and this is very interesting here, what he says, I think. So Bloomberg from September 8th, Bannon defiant after pleading not guilty to New York fraud charges. And he says here, so he said that Bannon pleaded not guilty Thursday to money laundering, fraud, and conspiracy charges after walking into a lower Manhattan courtroom in handcuffs. Again, we're at the same place where we were when Trump was president. I'm going to tell you about that. So this is what he says, and I think it's very interesting. And I'm quoting Bannon. "I have news for them," he said. "I have not yet begun to fight." All right. Well, it says that, so when it was Donald Trump president, the liberal media and its followers every day were coming with news. Trump will be arrested today for Russia collusion, for being, I don't know, all kind of stupid, crazy things that were thrown on Trump every day. He did this, he did that, he did with Putin this, he did with... And my colleagues, my liberal colleagues, were all masturbating every day reading that kind of news. And I was like, these guys have no evidence. Well, they said that. They will arrest him. So they were very, very naive and very low IQ. And believe me, I was rubbing shoulders with college-educated Americans. So they were not, let's say a person who lived in a hub somewhere for 30 years and just show up and didn't know anything about anything. So they pretended to be educated, and they were, by their diplomas and their titles, they were all educated. So I intend no insult or anything like that directed towards people with no college degrees or anything like this, because they can have a different understanding of reality than these educated people. But I had to say that because that's the way things are expressed here, that if you are college graduated, somehow you have a different, everybody else is just a, So they were masturbating every day intellectually, oh my God, there's going to be, and nothing happened, obviously, so far. Coming back to Bannon. If he's guilty, he should pay. But what's my observation lately? It would be about 8 months or so, a year. One side arrests the other side. Members of Trump administration. Now you can say, no, well, they were all crooks. Now, all right, they were all crooks. Does it mean that on the other side there's no crook? Nobody? If you think that way, we're in big trouble. All of us. We are in big trouble as a country, as a society. Why? Because that means that those guys are angels and those guys are evils, which is impossible. So that tells me that if these guys attack those guys, and only those guys, not those guys, none of the guys affiliated with the people in power get arrested, indicted. Did you hear anything like that? Anyone going in handcuffs? An official or former official of Obama, of Clinton, or what's his name, Biden? No, I didn't hear it. They're all from that guy, from Trump's. And if you think that it's only there and it's nothing here, you guys, the ones who think that way, you would get us in one party system, and that's not a good thing. Because remember, it's very strange that only on this side and not on that side. It makes you wonder if that is really a hunt of some kind. Now, I lived through a communist system and was only one party system. That's it. That means whatever they were saying, that was right. You couldn't elect anything else. It was only one party. There were people like you and I who were telling everybody else what to do, when to do, where to go, how to live. Now, if you're happy now that these guys, or celebrate that these guys on Trump's, that you might not like Trump and his clique, okay, that's fine. But remember, that's going to turn around and bite you in the butt as well. Now you masturbate about this. That's fine. But remember, cheering for this, that lion that now is eating these guys is going to get rid of them and is going to turn towards you and us. That's the end game in any kind of society who starts targeting the other side. Now, don't get me wrong. If they did something, they should be indicted and all that. But the strange thing is there's none on the other side that gets the same treatment. That tells me this is not really about justice. It's something about getting those guys out, and we are the only ones who are going to stay here. And that's not good for you too, for me, and for people who cheer for these kind of things. The narrow-minded, short-sighted, yes, they get, Bannon, that should go, Trump, okay. Now we go to, what's his name? Stephen, what's his name? I can't remember. He's a Jewish guy anyway, but he was again in the Trump Miller. Steve Miller, whatever his name is. Again, they're going after him. It was another guy. They go after each and every of these guys. That's not right. That's not right. And that's going to bite us. And what's going to be next? Romania. And Romania did not end well. You remember what happened with Ceausescu eventually? Well, and it was bad. So don't cheer for these things if you see them it's going only one direction, because it's an impossibility. And if you are so narrow-minded and so unjust and so subjective to say, yes, I don't care, just get them, I think you're a danger for the whole society. Not only for me, for them, for the whole thing. Because as I said, that's going to turn around and hit you. And when it's going to hit you, what are you going to do? I know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to cry like a female dog in a corner, bent over and pound it real hard. And it's going to be a surprise for you. But that's your level. That's how far you're going to get. The problem is there are people who see certain signs in a society and they try to warn people. Yeah, take care of them, but how about the other ones? Nothing there? Nothing there? Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.